Hello there and welcome to the Catholic Focus News. I'm Sasha Elizabeth alongside Eric Maluki on sign language interpretation. In this broadcast, we bring you stories on faith and education leadership as Catholic educators gather in Nairobi for a key continental conference. We also track growing momentum in the national voter registration exercise as leaders intensify grassroots mobilization. And we look at concerns over stalled government-funded development projects in Busia County. We have all that and more. Let's get started. Education leaders from across the country have converged at the Catholic University of Eastern Africa in Nairobi for the 12th edition of the Catholic Private Educational Institutions Association Kenya CAPEIA conference, which officially opened today. The 4-day conference, running from Tuesday the 7th to Friday the 10th April, is focusing on strengthening Catholic schools as faith-driven centers of academic excellence and purposeful formation. CAPEIA operates under the Kenya Conference of Catholic Bishops Commission for Education and Religious Education, abbreviated as CERES. Of course, there are a lot of dignitaries that are representing at the CAPEIA 12th edition conference, and you will get details of their speeches in our subsequent bulletin at 7 p.m. Among them is the Right Reverend Henry Odonya of the Kitale Diocese. Now, the ongoing voter registration exercise is gaining momentum across the country, while leaders intensifying grassroots mobilization to boost turnout. In Husero constituency, residents of Kisa Central are now being urged to seize the opportunity and register in large numbers to take part in shaping their leadership. Here's Gifted Rapalo with more.
2 weeks since voter registration exercise officially kicked off, leaders in Kisa Central are ramping up efforts to ensure no eligible voter is left behind. Speaking during a sanitization forum in the area, local leader Richard Litunya called on residents to step forward and enlist as voters, emphasizing that participation in the electoral process is the key to determining the future of their community.
Lengo langu kubwa ilikuwa ni kuhamasisha vijana waweze kuchukua kura, ili katika hali ya kuchukua hii kura tuweze kuchagua viongozi ambao ni viongozi bora. Tuweze kuondoa wale viongozi ambao si wazuri, tupate viongozi wazuri.
Litunya further cautioned young people against being lured into political unrest for financial gain, warning that such actions only undetermine their own future.
Kwa mara mingi ukiangalia ile fedha ambao vijana upatiwa wakati wanaenda kufanya vurugu katika mikutano, na upige na ile miaka ambayo huyu kiongozi anaenda kwa uongozi, unapata labda ni shilingi 2 ama shilingi 5 ambazo mtu anapewa kwenda kurusha vurugu katika mikutano za wengine. Mimi kile tunaweza shauri vijana ni kwamba tukue productive. Tunaweza tumia njia mingi kukuwa productive, tutabarikiwa. Lakini issue ya kutumiwa kwenda kupigana vita kwa mikutano, huwezi jua labda huyo kiongozi ndiye atachaguliwa kesho. Jana ulimrusha na mawe, kesho umkute kwa ofisi, unatarajia kusaidia? So mimi nashauri vijana tuache kutumwa vibaya.
Instead, he urged the youth to take a proactive role in decision-making process by registering as voters and engaging constructively in leadership matters.
Katika hii hali ya kuwa idle sana, pia ndio unachangia vijana kufanya mambo mengi mabaya. Mimi nimeamini kutoka kitambo ya kwamba security haitengenezwi na kujenga police stations mingi kwa area, ila kwa kuempower the youth. Manake hata ukaweza jenga police stations mingi ama ulete polisi wakuwe wengi, hautaleta usalama. Usalama ni kuhakikisha kwamba hawa vijana wako na mahali pa kutoa mkate wao kila siku. So kwa viongozi ambao wanaweza pata fursa hata ya kutembea nchi za nje, watuletee investors wakuje watusaidie kuwa na kwa hii shughuli ya empowerment.
Residents have now been encouraged to turn out in large numbers before the registration window closes, as calls for civic responsibility continue to take center stage. Reporting for Catholic Focus, Capuchin TV, I'm Gifted Rapalo.
Still on matters civic responsibility and democratic rights, leaders in Kakamega County have issued a strong call to action to Kenyans to turn out in large numbers and register as freshest voters, even as they distance themselves from political voices opposing the exercise. This comes in the wake of a fire that destroyed classrooms at Emulama Primary School in Navaholo, and amid growing support for the government's crackdown on corruption in the petroleum sector following the arrest of senior officials linked to the fuel scandal.
Residents of Navaholo constituency are counting losses after a late-night fire razed 4 classrooms at Emulama Primary School. It is during an inspection visit to the affected school that Navaholo Member of Parliament Emmanuel Wangwe urged Kenyans to turn out in large numbers and heed the call by the Independent Electoral and Boundaries Commission to register afresh as voters. Wangwe distanced himself from leaders opposing the exercise, emphasizing the importance of inclusivity in the electoral process.
Wale watu ambao walipata kura 2007 hatuko tunatumia hii mambo ya kupima macho, si ndio? Sasa wameleta mtambo mpya, unaangalia macho, unaangalia kidole. Tafadhali go and renew your position. Tuko wengi, lakini kwa register tuko wachache.
The legislator also called on constituents who may have relocated to return and update their voter registration details.
Kubadilisha pia iko, lakini ukitaka kubadilisha kama ulikuwa umeenda nje mpaka Navaholo, hawezi fanya na outstation. Ulialala? Na tunakaribisha wale wasichana wetu wametoka nje, wamekuja, kujeni mbadilishe voter cards zenu.
Elsewhere in Ikolomani constituency, leaders lauded the government's recent anti-corruption drive targeting the fuel sector. Speaking while commissioning newly constructed multi-story classrooms at Sabane Primary School, funded through the Constituency Development Fund, Ikolomani Member of Parliament Bernard Shinali praised the arrest of senior officials implicated in the fuel scandal.
Watu wale wanaiba mafuta, wanataka kutuwekea mafuta ile imechanganywa na vitu zingine, alternated fuel. Sasa ameshika bila kuangalia kabila, bila kuangalia chochote, amesema ukipatikana nayo ndani.
Shinali emphasized the need for accountability, noted that the arrest signaled a firm stance against impunity, regardless of status or ethnicity.
Sumeona MD wa pipeline ndani? Sumeona MD wa Kepra ndani? Wote bila kuangalia kabila, amesema akiwa Mkale ndani, akiwa Mluya ukiiba uibi na mtu. Sawa sawa? Na hiyo ndio sisi Kenya tunataka. Hatutaki mambo ya ukora na ukorofi.
Reporting for Bulletin TV, my name is Njagi Ndenya.
Concerns are mounting in Teso South, Busia County over the stalled construction of a major government-funded educational project at Amukura Teachers Training College. The 340-bed student hostel, which was officially launched by President William Ruto, has reportedly remained incomplete months after its commissioning, raising questions over the progress of key development projects in the region. Here is Susan Bulletin with the full report.
6 months after President William Ruto commissioned the construction of a 340-bed hostel at Amukura Teachers Training College, the project has ground to a halt despite an earlier deadline set for completion in September this year.
Ruto alikuja hapa aka-launch, akasema yeye ametoa pesa ya kujenga hii college. Alisema au kusema? Alisema yeye anataka shule iharakishwe mwezi wa 9 mwaka hii 2026 hiyo shule ifunguliwe.
The situation has sparked outrage among residents and local leaders, with Teso South Member of Parliament Mary Emase leading protests demanding the removal of the contractor of the stalled works.
Tumekasirika sana. Wafunike shimo. Contractor Bonoko. Tupatie mtu hapa atakuja kufanya kazi hii mradi ya Amukura Teachers Training College ikamilike mwezi wa 8.
Emase says the delay is not only disrupting the rollout of learning at the college, but also denying locals much needed job opportunities, even as millions of shillings have already been allocated to the project.
Hii mradi si ati hakuna pesa. Pesa iko. Mimi nimetumia PS message hata nipatie namba ya contractor wamekataa kunipatia.
Reporting for the Catholic Focus, Capuchin TV, my name is Susan Bulletin.
And that story brings us to the end of the Catholic Focus News. So for more on these and other stories, stay connected to our platforms for continuous updates and in-depth coverage. I'm Asasha Elizabeth, and on behalf of Eric Maluki on sign language interpretation and the entire production team, thank you for watching.
Keep watching Capuchin TV, your staunchly Catholic identity channel.